12 were invited, 5 said yes, none came, but I did. This episode is for every leader, every creator, every coach who's ever launched something with love and then been met with silence. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Oden, and this is where we nurture, inspire, equip, and empower introverted leaders and business owners just like you who are making waves quietly and with impact. In this episode, I'm going to share what it looks like in leadership when no one is watching. I'm going to share what it felt like to show up alone and how I fought the urge to retreat. Danger, danger! And then what Psalms 1:3 taught me about planting. Listen if you've ever wondered if you've launched too soon, or you felt embarrassed after no one responded, or even question your leadership when it was quiet. If you've ever faced that sting, take a breath, press play, and sit with me in this moment. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Have you ever desired to have a mentor whisper success secrets into your ear? One with firsthand experience as a six-figure corporate leader, expertise in entrepreneurship, and is an introvert? Tune into each episode where we will provide valuable insights into how introverts can effectively navigate life with full-time jobs, pursue career success, and delve into entrepreneurship. We will explore various business and career topics related to self-discovery, achieving success, and finding joy in the journey. My guest and I share real-life experiences, strategies, tools, and resources that will encourage personal and professional growth, self-empowerment, and living an authentic, purposeful life. Let's get into today's episode. We are not shy, timid, or needing to be fixed. We are an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted, AFF, absolutely fabulous and feisty. I plan a mastermind for my community. 5 said yes. No one came. I'm going to talk about that. It's not from a sob story standpoint, but from a mirror for any of you that has ever felt that disappointment, that embarrassment, or even tempted to disappear after you've put yourself out there. I'm going to talk about that. No fluff. It's not one of those polished, teachy episode. Like this is a moment, like a real one. I recently hosted a mastermind for my community, and I felt it was something I needed to create. I've launched a new community, and one of the things I've been able to experience in my journey is the power of a mastermind, as Napoleon Hill talked about, and that collective energy around ideas from other brilliant people. I set the room. I sent the invites. I got a few yeses, and then nobody came. I sat there, absolutely present. I had gotten my notes out from my previous mastermind that had started with some other ladies, and I was ready to go, and I was absolutely present, and I felt fully exposed. And no one came. It's almost like I created an event for crickets because they showed up. I felt disappointed. Not and let me be clear. This episode isn't about them because I still hold my community that's growing and expanding in a movement. I hold that in the deepest sacred place. It's more about what I learned about myself and not canceling out on myself in the moment. So in the past, I would have faced a similar disappointment and I would have retreated for days. So here you are. If you've launched the thing, if you've opened the door, if you've showed your heart and you heard crickets, well, I'm going to talk to you about what leadership looks like when nobody's watching. I had this voice that said, "Oh, you should have waited." But here's the thing, I had committed to the community a monthly mastermind. And I would have been out of integrity if I didn't do my best, everything in my power to offer that. I had to urge to shrink when I knew some would not be able to attend because life happens and they let me know. And I had this, it was everything rising up in me that, like, the old Stephanie would have been like, oh, let's just shrink. Oh, it's not a good time. Oh, like all of those things felt like I failed. Um, Maybe you've been there too. I'm being real with you in the moment because I feel like sometimes we don't share the messy middle. And some of it is because as introverts, we don't get that space, we don't get that opportunity to share our messy middle because we have others that are louder and bolder and they're out there and we really want to be on. But I'm human. And I'm in the season of sitting in my humanity as I stand in my presence. What's so interesting is that I love when this happens. The very Sunday at service for this mastermind, there was a sermon on planting, Psalm 1:3. And it talked about intentionally being planted. It talked about being in your season, talked about your fruit. And I thought about that. I thought about and being intentionally planted. And it stirred something in me. And I thought about, like, trees don't uproot themselves when the soil feels dry. Like, they stay. They dig deeper till they get to what they are searching for. They trust the process even when it looks barren all around them. And that's where I found myself. Like, I really found myself not in this place of despair, but really rooted in my purpose and really aligned and acknowledging that in this, there is some loneliness. But I feel empowered that I'm aligned even when nobody else is in the room. And I realize that it's what I do in the silence that matters. Sometimes, sometimes seeds get planted when the room is empty. So what did I learn? I showed up anyway. I was able to take that time and meet with my assistant to help us narrow some things down and get some clarity. I didn't shut it all down. That is probably the biggest win because an old version of me would have said, Obviously, it's not the right time. Obviously, you're not doing the right thing. Obviously, well, I don't know what's so obvious about that. And assure you that another version of me wouldn't have even shared this story. Would not have even shared with you the messy middle. But this isn't about being stood up. It's not about being stranded at the drive-in. Um, it's not about the crickets. It's about standing anyway. And I want to speak to you, to coach, the creative, the builder, the leader. If you've ever hosted the thing and no one came, if you've ever launched and posted and planned and you heard crickets, I see you. You didn't fail. You're not behind. You're rooted. My question for you is if, what if, like mine, what if your most important seeds are being planted in the quietest places of your life right now? What if? If you want to know about the community that has launched, and I promise you, we will continue to have masterminds along with some of the other things, come sit with me in the Introvert Achievers Network. Go to my website. You'll be able to get taken directly there for information. And I hope that you remember what I said. You didn't fail. You're not behind. You're rooted. That's it for this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know any insights that you had from this episode. I would love to hear your takeaways. Remember to head to my website, grab a copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created for you. And join us next week. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. See you next time.